Good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I hope we remember we discussed this one in the last class. Given the speed
Yes,
of the,
ma'am.
yeah, given the speed of the car,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, how we need to go about preparing a distance time graph. I think we were talking about this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so
Last
here,
class.
yeah, so here we are given the coordinates of A and C. We are given the coordinates of A and C. And using these coordinates, we need to find the coordinates of B and D. Given that ABCD is a square. We are given that ABCD is a square. Given that ABCD is a square, and given the coordinates of A and C, the vertices A and C, we need to first find the coordinates of B and D. You don't have to make a graph for this. The coordinates will be the numerical portions will be 7 and 7. The x coordinate will be 7. The y coordinate will be 7. Just that you'll have to fix the signs depending on the quadrant in which it falls. But it's better you make it on a graph paper. See, what I'm trying to say is here there is no mention of graph. There is no mention of graph here. It's not compulsory that you have to plot these points on a graph paper because there is no mention of a graph here. So it's not compulsory that you do it on a graph paper. And I don't know if in your exam you're not you have this question, but you're not given a graph paper. You know, so in that case, remember that the address will be the same in this case, or you can do a rough plotting on a paper itself. You can just show these markings and try to plot and find the coordinates of B and D. So all that I'm trying to say is there's no mention of graph here, so it's not mandatory that you should do it on a graph paper. You can do a rough working and find the coordinates of B and D. And having found the coordinates of B and D, we need to write the equations of all the sides of the square. Having found the coordinates of B and D, we need to write the equations of all the sides of the square. So how can we describe the line segment AB? Let's start with AB. How can we describe the line segment AB? The line segment AB or the side AB, okay, this line segment is parallel to the y-axis and is at a distance of 7 units to the left of it. The line segment AB is parallel to the y-axis and is at a distance of 7 units to the left of the y-axis, With respect to the y-axis, we have two sides, right side and the left side. With respect to the x-axis, we have again two sides, above the x-axis, below the x-axis. With respect to the x-axis, we say above and below. With respect to the x-axis, we say above the x-axis, below the x-axis. With respect to the y-axis, we say to the right of the y-axis, to the left of the y-axis. So this line segment AB is a line this line segment AB is parallel to the y-axis and is at a distance of 7 units to the left of the y-axis. And we know that if a line or line segment, I told you this line segment is a part of a line. So it's parallel to the y-axis. That means the equation will look like x is equal to something. X is equal to a. X is equal to a. X is equal to a. If it's parallel to the y-axis, its equation will be like x is equal to something. If it's parallel to the x-axis, if a line or a line segment is parallel to the x-axis, then its equation will be y is equal to something. Y is equal to b. X is equal to a. Y is equal to b. So now this is parallel to the y-axis. So it is x is equal to a. And will the value of a be positive or negative? If it is on the left side, it will be negative. If it's on the right side, it will be positive. Left side, it will be negative. X is equal to like minus a. If it's on the right side, it will be x is equal to plus a. If a line segment or a line is parallel to the y-axis, its equation will be like x is equal to a. X is equal to a. Now the value of a will be positive if the line or the line segment lies to the right of the y-axis. Right side positive, left side negative. Now this is on the left side. So x is equal to minus 7. X is equal to minus 7 is the equation of the line segment AB, which can be written as x plus 7 is equal to 0 in the standard form. X plus 7 is equal to 0 in the standard form. Now BC is parallel to the x-axis. So its equation will be like y is equal to b. Y is equal to b. It's parallel to the x-axis. So its equation will be like y is equal to b. And again, b will be positive if the line or the line segment lies above the x-axis. It will be negative if the line or the line segment lies below the x-axis. Below negative, above positive. BC is parallel to the x-axis. So equation will start like y is equal to what? What's the distance? It's at a distance of 7 units. It's at a distance of 7 units above the x-axis. So y is equal to 7. Y is equal to 7. Y is equal to b. B can be positive or negative. It will be positive if it is above, negative if it is below, if the line or the line segment is below the x-axis. So the equation of BC, since BC is parallel to the x-axis, it will start with y is equal to. Y is equal to, it can be a positive or a negative value. Now, since it's above the x-axis, it's positive. And the value is 7 because it's at a distance of 7 units from the x-axis. So y is equal to 7. In the standard form, y minus 7 is equal to 0. Similarly for CD and AD. I've shared all the 16 pages with you. The 14th one also we discussed in the last class. The ratio of the girls is to boys is 4:5. Write a linear equation between the boys and the number of students of the class. You need to take the boys as x and number of students as y. So the equation will be x by y because you'll have to take boys as x, students as y. So you can say x by y or y by x, whatever. So if you say x by y is equal to, boys represents 5 parts. And total number of students, 4 plus 5, 9 parts. So 5 by 9. 4 plus 5, 9 represents the class and 5 represents boys. So x by boys by class, x by y is equal to 5 by 9. On cross multiplying, this is the equation. This is the required linear equation in x and y that satisfies the given information. Table and read the values from the graph. So from the graph, so we've taken a number of boys along the x-axis because the x number of boys. So number of boys along the x-axis and number of students along the y-axis. Depending on the values we have against x and y, we decide the scale. We also consider the answers that have to be got from the graph while choosing the scale. So for that, you can work these algebraically. Find the number of boys. Find the number of boys in a class of 81 students. That is, you should find boys represent x or y children. Number of boys x or y.
X, ma'am.
X, ma'am. X.
Yeah. And 81 students. Total number of students x or y.
Y.
Y. So when y is 81, find the value of x algebraically using this equation. We have the equation with us. This is the equation. 9x minus 5y is equal to 0. 9x minus 5y is equal to 0. We are given the number of students as 81, which means y is equal to 81. Y is equal to 81. We need to find the number of boys, not algebraically, from the graph. But let's find the answer algebraically. How algebraically? We have constructed an equation wherein x represents the number of boys and y represents the number of students in the class. We have constructed an equation where x represents the number of boys of the class and y represents the total number of students in the class. We are given the number of students in the class is equal to 81. So that means y is equal to 81. Given y, you need to find x. You need to find the number of boys in the class. Given y is equal to 81, we need to find x. So you can substitute. When y is 81, work and find the corresponding value of x. And you'll get x is equal to 45. You'll get x is 45. Do it in the rough work. Then there's another question to be answered from the graph where it's given the number of boys is 35. You can see it right below. Number of boys 35. Find the number of students of the class. Right below, you can see. Given the number of boys, we need to find the number of students of the class. So that is, we're given the value of x and we need to find the corresponding value of y. Given the value of x. So x is, I forgot, x 35. So given x 35, number of boys 35. Given x is 35, find the number of students in the class, find y, and you will get 63. Algebraically, you will get 63. Now these are the x values. You need to have these values 50, 0. You must be able to read these values conveniently from the scale you take. 50, 0, 25, then this 45. Because 45 is also an x value. So you can say 50, 0, 25, 45. So scale, you can see, multiples of 5. I told you the other day, you can even take 10. You can even take 10, 1 centimeter, 10 units. I have taken 1 centimeter, 5 units. And look at the y values. Look at the y values, 90, 0, 45, 63. This is the y value. Number of students. We have to answer 2 questions from the graph. We'll work the answers algebraically. We will identify, see when the number of students in the class are given, that means y is given to us. So when y is something, we found x algebraically. And then given the number of boys, that is given x, we found y algebraically by substituting in the equation. So we have these values. In the table, we have x values 50, 0, 25, and the answer we'll get 45. So these are the x values. Y values 90, 0, 45, and the answer 63. This is a y value because number of students is a y value. So see the values against y, 90, 0, 45, and 63. So I have chosen on the y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 9 units. 9, 18, 27, so that it's convenient to get 63. So the scale has to be decided depending on the x values and y values you have. If you just have to make the graph, if you don't have to answer anything from the graph, then you just have to see the table, the values you have in the table, and decide the scale accordingly. If you have to also answer some questions from the graph, please answer the questions algebraically. see those values of x and y, combine all the x values you have, that is in the table and in your answer, all the y values you have, and decide the scale, decide a convenience scale. And not to forget the different parts of the graph, you need to mention what you have taken along the x-axis, along the y-axis, the equation on the line, scale, and then whatever you're finding, you know how to do this. So given the strength, the total strength is 81. So see here 81. Given the total strength is 81. Given the I didn't mention this. So these are also the x values, children. These are also the x and y values. X is what is this 35? I forgot to mention this. X 35 and y 81. What you have in the question here? What you have in the question here? See a number of boys. X is 35 and number of students of the class, y is 81, y 81. This also represents a y value. Number of boys, x value. So this is an x value, y value. So you have 81, y value 81. Okay, so like that. So when number of students 81, how many boys in the class? So like this, number of students 81, y-axis 81. Number of students 45. Sorry, number of students 81. Number of boys 45. And then the next question, when the number of boys are 35, number of boys 35. So boys along the x-axis we've taken, boys 35. How many students? 63. So these lines indicate that these parallel and perpendicular lines, indicate that you have found the values, these values from the graph. Actually, we have double checked them by working algebraically, but you need to show these parallel and perpendicular lines indicating that you've got these answers from the graph. Any questions, children?
No, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, see this one. Yeah, look at the 8th one. In an election, 40% of the voters did not cast their votes. In an election, 40% of the voters did not cast their votes. That is 40% of the eligible voters, not 40% of the population. Not 40% of the population, 40% of the voters meaning eligible voters. 40% of the voters, 40% of the people who are eligible to vote. Not 40% of the population. In an election, 40% of the voters. So people who are eligible to vote, of those people, for only 40% of the voters, they did not cast their votes. That means 60% casted their votes. 60% of the voters casted their votes. 40% did not cast their votes. Totally 100%. Number of voters in terms of percentage of voters 100%. Voters who cast their votes. Everybody who votes is not an voter. Voter is a person who is eligible to vote. Voter is the person who is eligible to vote. So 100% voters, 100%. Voters who cast their votes, 60%. Voters who did not cast their votes, 40%. Voters 100%, not population 100%. Voters 100%. So out of this, 40% of the voters did not cast their votes. They did not cast their votes. That means 60%, the remaining 60%, they casted their votes. So now tell me, what is the ratio of voters to the total number of voters? Meaning, what is the ratio of the people who cast their votes to the total number of voters? Ratio of
Ma'am, 60 is to 100.
60 by 100. Ratio of voters who cast their votes to the total number of voters. So total number of voters, that is as a percentage, 100%. Voters who cast their votes, 60%. This ratio is 60 by 100. 60 by 100 or 3 by 5. Ratio of voters, what is the ratio of voters who did not cast their votes to the total voters? Ratio of
40 by 100.
40 by 100. Ratio of voters who did not cast their votes to the total voters is 40 by 100. 40 did not cast their votes out of 100. 40 by 100 or 2 by 5. What is the ratio of the voters who cast to the voters who did not cast?
60 to 40.
Ma'am, 60 by 40.
60 to 40.
60 by 40. Ratio of voters who cast their votes to voters who did not cast their votes. 60 by 40. Who cast their votes? 60. Who did not cast their votes? 40. 60 by 40. 3 by 2. So again, who casted to total? Voters who cast their votes to the total will be voters who cast their votes to the total. What is the ratio? What is the ratio of?
60 by 100, ma'am.
Yeah, ratio of voters who cast their votes to the total voters is equal to 60 by 100, 3 by 5. Ratio of voters who did not cast to the total voters will be
40 by 100, ma'am.
which is 2 by 5. Now, what is the ratio of the voters who did not cast to the voters who cast, did not cast to cast?
60 by 50.
Ma'am, 40 by
40 by 60, did not cast by cast. 40 by 60. So be careful with the order. 40 by 60, which is 2 by 3. All right. So now now children, the thing is, when we have three different things, here we have voters, we have total voters, we have voters who casted their votes, we have voters who did not cast their votes. We have three things, but on the Cartesian plane, we have only two axes. We can take one for x-axis and one for y-axis. Children, look into your mic, disable your mic. So we have only two axes. In the Cartesian plane, we have only two axes, the x and y axis. So we can take one thing along the x axis and another thing along the y axis. But when we have three things, like for example, when we had speed, distance, and time, we took distance. We were asked to make the distance time graph, the last one. So there we were asked to make the distance time graph, which means we take distance along the x-axis and time along the y-axis. So here also we have three things. We have voters who cast their votes, we have voters who did not cast their votes, and we have total voters. But we can take only two of them on the Cartesian plane, one along the x-axis and one along the y-axis. Now nothing, there is no mention of what is to be taken on x and y-axis. There is no mention. So you have to decide. You have to decide what to take along the x and y-axis. Now, how do we decide that? So when in questions like this where there is no mention, you should just read the questions that follow. When you read the questions, what are the questions you'll have to answer? You need to find the total number of voters. You need to find the total number of voters if 300 voters cast their votes. So here something is given about voters who cast their votes, and given that is 300, we have to find the total number of voters. And in the next one, given the total number of voters, we have to find how many cast their votes. So you can see that the two questions, in these two questions, you are either given the total number of voters and asked to find how many voters cast their votes, or the other way. Given how many cast their votes, you'll have to find the total number of voters. So these two are the quantities which have to be taken along the x and y axis. Anything can be taken along the x and the other thing along y. So did not cast their votes is not in the picture here. Because when you have to read the values from the graph, you will have to draw the parallel and perpendicular lines. So the questions involve total number of voters and the voters who cast their votes. Only these two. So take these quantities along the x and y axis. Anything, or take one thing along the x axis, the other thing along the y axis. That is your choice now, because there is no mention. So what have I done? So see here, solution in 1 and 2, meaning in these questions and subdivisions 1 and 2, we have to graphically find out the total number of voters and the number of votes cast respectively. That is, in one we have to find, in this one we have to find the total number of voters, and the other, in this question we have to find the number of votes cast. That is the number of voters who voted. The number of voters who cast their votes. In 1 we have to find this, in 2 we have to find this. So let's take, see, I told you anything along x and the other thing along y. So total number of voters along x axis and number of voters who cast their votes along the y axis. So you can see that here. So whatever you take along the x and y axis, find that ratio. You can find y by x also. You can find x by y. Again, there's no order. You're finding a ratio. So if you say x by y, write x first and then y. If you're finding y by x, write y and then x. So here, what does x represent? What does x represent? X is the total number of voters. So you can see I've taken 100. X along the x axis is total number of voters. X is total number of voters, that is 100%. And y, what is y? Number of votes cast, that is voters who have cast their votes, that is y. So how many cast their votes? 40% did not cast. 40% did not cast. So 60% casted their votes. So 100 by 60. Which is 5 by 3, cross multiply and get the equation. Make the table. And since the value of c is 0, you can see that the graph passes through the origin. Since the value of c, 3x minus 5y is equal to 0. The value of c, what's the value of a from the equation? In the equation 3x minus 5y is equal to 0, what is the value of a?
3.
What's the value of b?
5. 5. Ma'am.
Minus 5. What's the value of c?
0. 0.
So when the value of c is 0, the graph passes through the origin. What is the standard form of a linear equation in two variables x and y? Give me an example. Give me an example of a linear equation in two variables x and y. Having the constant also.
2m plus 4y plus 4, ma'am.
Okay, is equal to 0. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
replace the coefficients of x and y with a and b and call the constant c. You said 2x, so say ax because x is going to be x, but 2 need not be 2, right? It can be any real value, but not 0. You said 2x. So let's say ax in general, in general ax. And then you said some minus 4y. In general, by, because 4, it need not be 4 always. It can be 3, it can be 3/2, it can be root 5, can be any real value. So let's say by, and for the constant c, now connect using a plus sign. See, it can be 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, minus 5x, whatever. So ax. Then the y term can be minus 3y, 5y, 10y, whatever y. So by, and the constant c. So we have ax, by, and c. Connect all these terms with the plus sign. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 is the standard form of a linear equation on two variables x and y. Condition a and b should not be both 0 at the same time. Both a and b should not be 0. Then you will lose both x and y. Then you can see the lines, parallel and perpendicular lines, to read the values from the graph. Again, you will have to find it algebraically so that you're sure you've got the same answer on the graph. So that you can make sure that you've got the same answer on the graph. Always work. Whatever has to be found graphically, please work it algebraically. Just substitute in the equation you've constructed. Something will be the x value, something will be the y value. So substitute for x, find y. That's the answer you should get on the graph also. This one, this equation, this graph against phi. So since I did not have space, I couldn't extend it. Otherwise, you should see, like, this line will intersect the y-axis, right? So you need to produce this line and then show the y-intercept. Let's talk about the x and y-intercept now. So now this one should be produced, but since I have made two graphs on the same paper, you can understand there was no space, so I couldn't pull this up. Otherwise, you are expected to, extend the y-axis and then pull this line and show the intersection. It intersects here. You can see the x-intercept. You can't see the y-intercept. You need to show the y-intercept also. So since I did not have space here, I just left it here like this. Otherwise, you'll have to pull this y-axis and then extend this line. And you know that this line will intersect the y-axis. Let me tell you about the x and y intercept. Okay. So the x-intercept is the coordinates of the point where the graph line intersects the x-axis. Now here in this in this graph, in question number 4, in graph 4, you can see that the graph line x plus 5y is equal to 35. It intersects the x-axis at the point 35, 0 and intersects the y-axis at 0, 7. Which means the x-intercept is 35, 0 and the y-intercept is 0, 7. X-intercept is a point. X-intercept is the point where the graph line intersects the x-axis. Y-intercept, intercept, I-N-T-E-R-C-E-P-T, intercept. X-intercept, Y-intercept. Both x-intercept and y-intercept are points. They are points. Which point? X-intercept is the point. X-intercept is the point where the graph line intersects or meets the x-axis. Y-intercept, not intersect, intercept. Y-intercept is the point where the graph line intersects the y-axis. So in this graph, the x-intercept is 35, 0 and the y-intercept is 0, 7. Now, to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, you don't have to make the graph. Supposing you're given this equation, x plus 5y is equal to 35. Given the equation, without making the graph, you can find the x and y intercept. You don't have to make the graph to find the x and y intercept. Without making the graph, just given the equation, you can algebraically find the coordinates of the x intercept and the y intercept. So now you can see that in the x intercept, the value of y will be 0. This is the x intercept. 35, 0 represents the x-intercept here of this graph. Clearly, the y value is 0. So when you want to find the x-intercept, simply in the equation, in place of y, when you use 0, you will find the corresponding value of x, and that x value, y 0 will represent the x-intercept. I'll repeat this. We are given this equation, x plus 5y is equal to 35. Please write down your book, children. Write down this equation, x plus 5y is equal to 35. And you can just find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Write this equation, x plus 5y is equal to 35. Let's find the x-intercept and the y-intercept algebraically. Graph should always be made only if you are asked to make in the question. Prepare a graph, make a graph, or if it is on the coordinate axis. Otherwise, you don't have to make the graph.
We must do the graph, ma'am.
Yeah, that is homework. That's why I've shared all the 16 pages with you. We are discussing everything now. Once we finish, you can complete it later, not now during the class. All right, children. So to find the x-intercept, give the y value as 0. When y is 0, so it will be x plus 5 into 0 is equal to 35. 5 into 0 is 0. So x plus 0 is equal to 35 or x is equal to 35. So when y is 0, x is 35. So 35, 0 is the x-intercept. How do we find the y-intercept?
And 0, 7 is the y-intercept.
Yeah, but how do we find it algebraically?
The line which crosses the y-axis.
No, my question is different.
Ma'am, can you share the question once again, ma'am?
I said how to find. We are actually trying to find the X and Y intercept algebraically?
Ma'am, x plus 5y is equal to 35.
That's the equation.
Must give X or Y 0, ma'am.
Okay, but which one 0 to find the Y intercept?
Ma'am, X, ma'am.
Yeah. So when X is 0, who's this? X0, who's this?
Pranav, ma'am.
Oh, okay. But I thought you only asked me the doubt. Okay. When X is 0, find the corresponding value of Y. So 0 plus 5Y is equal to 35. 5y is equal to 35. Y is equal to 35 by 5. Y is 7. When X is 0, Y is 7. When you find the value of Y when X is 0, because 0 on the Y axis, X is always 0. On the Y axis, X is 0. On the Y axis, X will be 0. So to find the Y intercept, you must give X 0. So when you give X 0, you find that Y is 7. So 0, 7 is the Y intercept. And you know, on the X axis, Y is always 0. The Y value will be 0. So when you take Y as 0 and find the corresponding X value, in this case, you will get 35 when Y is 0. So 35, 0, X, Y. 35, 0 represents the X intercept. So when you're given the equation at Y is equal to 0, when you find the corresponding value of X, you can make the coordinates of the X intercept. When you give X as 0 and find the corresponding value of Y, when you give X as 0 and find the corresponding value of Y, you will get the Y intercept. So to find the X and Y intercept, you don't have to make the graph. If there's somebody who doesn't understand, you tell me the equation, we'll do it together. If it's not clear, please voice out. Is everything fine from my end?
Yes, ma'am.
My screen and my voice, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did we just discuss?
Ma'am, how to find the intercepting point using algebraic rule?
Correct. How to find the X intercept and the Y intercept algebraically. What is the X intercept? What do you understand by the term X intercept? It's the point where the
Line passes through the axis, ma'am.
Yeah, X intercept is the point where the graph line intersects the X axis. Y intercept is the point where the graph intersects the Y axis. I think somebody's mic is enabled. Please disable your mic. You can see it here. What I just explained, you can see it here below the first one. This is not a part of the answer. This is just for information. I've written here against note X intercept refers to the. So this is just for your information. It's not a part of this graph. I'm sure you will understand that. So while answering this graph, I've just mentioned this note describing the meaning of the term X intercept and Y intercept and how it can be found algebraically. This is not a part of the first graph, just for your information.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Yes.
ma'am, you have said that you would keep a class test, ma'am.
Yeah. That's what is next now.
Okay, ma'am.
Please write down this in your book. All of you, please make a note of this. Write down the contents of your screen in your book. Please write now in the class.
Finished, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you completed, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody still writing? I'll wait.
I'm writing.
Yeah, please finish. I'll wait. Can I go to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Do we have to answer this, ma'am?
Yeah. Take a screenshot. You don't have to copy the question now. If you want to, you can. I'll wait for you. If you want to finish it, if you want to write the question, yes, I'll wait. Make a note of the question quickly and answer it. The graphs also, you can make a rough sketch. Because sometimes, we take a screenshot, but we don't get back to this work, right? We just forget it. So it's better if you write it now. I'm not sharing this material, children. If you want, take a screenshot now. Otherwise, I'll wait. You can write down the questions. Make it fast. Graph also make a rough picture. Make rough pictures.
On infinitely many solutions, ma'am.
One second. No, I've just gone out here. Please come again.
Answer infinitely many solution, ma'am.
Yeah. No, I was away. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ma'am, should we say the answers right now or?
Yeah. Yes. Before we move on to the next slide, we'll share the answer. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So the linear equation 5x minus 3y is equal to 7 has
Infinitely many solutions.
Infinitely many solutions.
many solutions. Because for different values of x, you can find the corresponding values of y. So it has infinitely many solutions. Okay. The second one, which of the following graph exhibit a linear relationship between x and y?
Ma'am, C.
Yeah. Option C. It's a line. It looks tiny. It looks small, but it's a line. You can see the arrows on either ends. Option C. The others are curves. They represent the graphs of a cubic equation, quadratic equation. So we know that a linear relationship between x and y is a linear equation. which is a straight line, which is represented by a straight line. So option C. Which of the following is a solution of the linear equation 7x plus 3y is equal to 42? Yes, which is the correct option for question number 3?
Ma'am, option C, ma'am.
Option C, ma'am.
Option C.
Option C.
Yes, ma'am. I too got the same one.
Okay. So when x is 3 and y is 7, 7 3s are 21 plus 21, 42. So the point 3 comma 7 satisfies the equation. When x is 3 and y is 7, the equation is satisfied. LHS is equal to RHS. Yes. Question number 3, C is the correct option. Try the fourth one.
Fourth one, C, ma'am.
Ma'am, fourth one C, ma'am. 0 is greater than A.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the graph of y is equal to A. Y is equal to A is a line parallel to the x-axis. The graph of y is equal to A will be a line parallel to the x-axis. So if this is below the x-axis, the graph of y is equal to A. If it lies below the x-axis, then the value of A is less than 0 because it's on the negative side. So the value of A is less than 0. Below A is less than 0. A is negative. A less than 0 meaning the value of A is negative. The graph of y is equal to A lies below x-axis when, so if it's below the x-axis, then the value of A is negative. If it's above the x-axis, the value of A is positive. So when it is positive, we say A greater than 0. When A is positive, we say A is greater than 0. When A is negative, we say A less than 0. So these three options are A is positive, that is A greater than 0. A is equal to 0 because 0 is neither positive nor negative. When we say A is greater than 0, it means positive. A less than 0, negative. A is equal to 0, A is equal to 0. None of these. So below A is less than 0.
Ma'am, fifth one answer is A, ma'am.
So in the equation, in place of x, we have to use -2. And in place of y, -1. We need to solve the equation and find the value of m. Correct?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The first one, A is the answer.
A is the answer. Okay. So in the equation, mx plus 2y is equal to 15. We need to use x -2 and y -1 and solve it to find the value of m, which is -17/2. All right. Sixth one.
Ma'am, 8.2.
Ma'am.
8.5, ma'am.
Yeah, you're right. Minus 8.5. Yeah.
Ma'am, first one for sixth, some A is the option, ma'am.
6A, is it?
6A, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you checked for all the 3 points. 1, 1, minus 2, minus 5, and 7, 13 satisfies.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
these 3 satisfies the equation, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
6A is the correct option. Correct. Against each option in question number 6, against each option, we have 3 points. We'll have to check. So if you say A is the correct option, then all the 3 points in A, that is 1, 1, minus 2, minus 5, and 7, 13 must satisfy the given equation. Even if one of the 3 does not satisfy, that option cannot be the correct option. If of the 3 points, if in any option, if of the 3 points 2 satisfy, the other one does not satisfy, then that cannot be the correct option. All the 3 must satisfy the equation. Okay, so 6A is the correct answer.
Ma'am, I think
Ma'am,
7
7
answer D, ma'am.
7D.
Ma'am,
Yes.
D, ma'am.
D, the answer.
Ma'am,
7 D, ma'am. Rational number.
7D, is it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Rational numbers.
Ma'am, and 8 is A.
Yeah, just a minute. We'll finish the 7th one. So the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 7 has a unique solution. But it's a linear equation in 2 variables x and y. It cannot have a unique solution, right? It has infinitely many solutions. Think about it. The equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 7 is a linear equation in x and y. And we know that every linear equation in x and y has infinitely many solutions. So the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 7 has a unique solution if x and y are
Real number.
Ma'am, no, ma'am, it is D only, ma'am. Because if C is the option, then irrational number cannot be, ma'am.
no, if that is, you're saying if x and y are real number, rational numbers, they'll have a unique solution. Okay, the meaning of unique solution is they have only one solution. The meaning of unique solution is they have only one solution. It contradicts the fact that they have many solutions, right? Every linear equation on 2 variables x and y have infinitely many solutions. But here it's given this equation will have a unique solution, that is only one solution. So if you say rational numbers, option D, rational numbers meaning anything of the form a by b. So you will have many solutions, right? You give some fraction for x, you will get a different fraction for y. So like that, you'll have more than one solution. If you say real numbers, for some real value of x, you'll get some, when you substitute in the equation, if you use
Then natural numbers only.
you will get some other real value for y. So C real numbers cannot be, no, think about it. Think of options D and C. When you give, just give some rational number. 3 by 2. Say x is, now supposing we feel D is the correct option. So you give x 3 by 2. You will find some value for y. You give a different value for x, you'll get a different value for y. So then how can you say that it has a unique solution? Unique is only one solution. Real numbers. Yeah, you can, for different values of x, you'll get different values of y. Again, many solutions. So all of you please work. Write down the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 7. Write down. Now when x is 1, what is the value of y? When x is 1, what's the value of y?
1, ma'am.
No, 1 minute. Before that, please write x in terms of y, children. Please write x in terms of, write the equation. Please take the instructions carefully. Write the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to 7. Please write x in terms of y. And tell me what you get.
Ma'am, x is equal to 7 minus 5y by 2, ma'am.
Okay. 7 minus 5y by 2. Now, in place of y, you say 1. What are you getting? When y is 1, what is x?
6, ma'am.
No, now I'll tell you why I took 1 and not 0, because it's given if x and y are natural numbers, right? So I started with 1. If x and y are natural numbers, so I'm not using 0. So when y is 1, what is the value of x?
Ma'am, 1,
0.
ma'am. X are both 1, ma'am.
So
Sorry,
if y,
ma'am.
Ma'am,
It
also
is
equal to 1, ma'am. X is also equal to 1, ma'am.
yeah, so when y is 1, x is 1. Now what do you observe? Okay, now take y as 2. Now when y is 1, x is 1. Both are natural numbers, right? When x is 1, y is 1. Okay, both are natural. Now let's say y is 2. Work when y is 2.
Ma'am, we get 9, ma'am.
Ma'am, minus 3 by 2, ma'am. X is equal to.
When y is?
Ma'am,
2,
one
ma'am.
minute, ma'am.
When y is 2, ma'am, we get x is equal to minus 3 by 2, ma'am.
Yeah, who was that?
Kanishka, ma'am.
Okay. So when x is 2, when y is 2, x is equal to minus 3 by 2. Now is minus 3 by 2 a natural number?
No, ma'am.
Okay, leave that. Now, for any value of all of you must, I repeat, right? You should have written the equation, and also you should have written x in terms of y. You should have written x in terms of y. That is, x is equal to 7 minus 5y by 2. X is equal to 7 minus 5y by 2. Now from there, when y is 1, x is 1. Okay, next, when y is 2, look at the numerator when y is 2. What happens? It is 7 minus 5 into 2. So the values 7 minus 5 into 2 is minus 3. It's going to be, from now on, it's going to be negative. The numerator is going to be negative because it is 7. The first number is 7 and then it is minus 5 into something. 5 ones are 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2, positive. Then after that value, after 1, when y takes the value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, the numerator will be negative. Now we have taken y as 2, right? When you take y as 2, the numerator is minus 3. Then when you take y as 3, the numerator will be 7 minus 15, which is minus 8. The numerator will continue to be negative for all other natural numbers other than 1. So that means when for other values of y, you will not get a natural number for x because it will be negative. The answer will be negative. Answer is something but negative. It's not a natural number. Only when y is 1, x is 1. Only when y is 1, x is 1. Y1 natural, x1 natural. For other natural values of y, natural numbers for y, you are not getting a natural number for x. So that means x and y. So the equation will have a unique solution 1, 1 if x and y are natural numbers. If x and y are natural numbers. So if x should be natural and y should be natural, then they'll have only one solution, that is 1, 1. You are looking for a solution where both x and y are natural numbers. If x and y should be natural numbers, only when y is 1, we are getting x is also 1, 1, 1. Natural numbers, both are natural numbers. Only one solution you can have like that. It's easy to make out that because the numerator is 7 minus 5y. The numerator is 7 minus 5y. Now when y takes 1, the numerator will be 7 minus 5, which is 2. 2 by 2, the value of x is 1. After that, for other values of y, the numerator will become negative. The numerator 7 minus 5y, when y is 2, y is 3, y is 4, because you're trying to feed a natural number for y. All right, so for some natural number y, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and on, the numerator will become negative because it will be 7 minus, so it will be 7 minus 10, then 7 minus 15, 7 minus 20, 7 minus 25. So the value in the numerator will become negative. So which means the answer which you get for x will not be a natural number. Negative, no, so it's not a natural number. So 1, 1 is the only solution where x and y are natural numbers, which means the given equation has a unique solution, will have a unique solution if x and y are natural numbers. Otherwise, in general, this equation has infinitely many solutions, where x and y can be any real value. Yes, do the 8th one. What's the value of k?
4, ma'am. Option A.
Okay, so that is easy, right? You just have to, x is 2 and y is 0. Substitute and find the value of k. 2, 0. So when x is 2 and y is 0, find the value of k. What's the value of k you said?
4, ma'am.
Okay, 4. Yes, what's the answer for the 9th one?
D is the answer for 9th one, I think, ma'am.
D. Okay. Others?
D, ma'am.
Can you explain that, Shreyas?
Ma'am, minus 9 by 2 is equal to x, and whereas y is equal to m, ma'am.
Okay.
So 2 into minus 9 by 2 plus 0 m plus 9 is equal to 0, ma'am. So minus 9 plus 0 m plus 9 is equal to 0, ma'am. Minus 9 plus 9 will get cancelled, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. A different way to.
Minus
You're right.
2
Yeah,
m.
I think Kanishka also said option D. Why, Kanishka?
Yes, ma'am, the same explanation.
Okay, okay, fine. Option D is the correct option, but does anyone have a different explanation for this? What
Ma'am,
is, yeah,
2x plus 0y plus 9 is equal to 0, ma'am. So
Okay.
y is equal to 0, then if 9 goes to that side, it will become as minus 9, ma'am.
Okay, good.
And if 2 goes on that side, it will go convert multiply into divide, ma'am. So
Very good.
x is equal to minus 9 by 2, ma'am.
Yeah, perfect.
Keep x as m, ma'am.
Huh.
So
No,
minus 9 by 2, comma m.
No. X is equal to 9 minus 9 by 2, right? X is equal to
Ma'am.
minus 9 by 2. Yeah, now continue from there. Yes. How do you make the table for x is equal to minus 9 by 2?
One
X.
minute, ma'am.
Ah. So the equation, when you simplify the equation, it is x is equal to minus 9 by 2. And how do we make a table? If we have to make a graph of this equation, how do you prepare the table, the xy table for x is equal to minus 9 by 2?
Ma'am, y is always 0, ma'am.
Y is always 0. X is equal to minus 9 by 2.
X is always minus 9 by 2.
Yeah, x is always.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. By mistake, I said.
Yeah. I think that was Sangamitra. Please continue, Sangamitra. X is always minus 9 by 2 for?
For any value of 0 of y, ma'am.
Very good, very good. X is always minus 9 by 2 for any value of y. That's how we are supposed to understand this. Anyway, substituting and commenting, because the solution satisfies whatever is given there, satisfies the equation. So you said option D, that's fine. But you can also understand it like this. I think this will be more appropriate to understand in this situation. So any solution of the linear equation. So the given below are not, they don't represent one solution. Any solution of the linear equation, 2x plus 0y plus 9 is equal to 0 in two variables is of the form.
And we can multiply minus 9 by 2 into 2 into 3 like that, ma'am.
No. So when you simplify this equation, we get x is equal to minus 9 by 2. I think all of us understood that x is equal to minus 9 by 2 because 0y is 0. So 2x plus 9 is equal to, ignore 0y. So it is because 0y is 0. So we have 2x plus 9 is equal to 0. 2x is equal to minus 9. X is equal to minus 9 by 2. Now, if we have to prepare the graph for this equation, the table will be like against x, always minus 9 by 2. Y, any value of y. That's what we understand by x is equal to minus 9 by 2. X is equal to minus 9 by 2, meaning x is always minus 9 by 2, irrespective of the value of y. Whatever be the value of y, x will be always minus 9 by 2. That is what is indicated in option D. In option D, that's what is indicated. X is always, the x coordinate is always minus 9 by 2 for any value of y. That's represented by m. It can also be like minus 9 by 2 comma y, whatever. M meaning it's a variable. M meaning the y coordinate can change. M there represents the variable. Variable meaning it can take any value. The y coordinate can be any value, but x is always minus 9 by 2. That's what option D indicates. Minus 9 by 2 comma m, meaning x is always, the x coordinate will always be minus 9 by 2. The y coordinate is m. That means m here is a variable. A variable meaning it can take any value. So that means y coordinate will change. For any value of y, x is always minus 9 by 2.
Why we can't give B, ma'am?
Yes, Pranav?
Ma'am, I do not understand why we not give B, ma'am. B is also variable and minus 9 by 2, no, ma'am.
No, but the x coordinate cannot change. The x coordinate will always be minus 9 by 2 because we get x is equal to minus 9 by 2. So the x coordinate cannot be other than minus 9 by 2. It will always be minus 9 by 2. That's what it is. X is equal to minus 9 by 2. That means the x coordinate is always minus 9 by 2 for different values of y.
And for the 10th one, the answer is
No, we're not done with the 9th one. I'm just
A
waiting.
is equal to 0, ma'am.
Just waiting if others still have questions.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Pranav?
Ma'am, ma'am, what, ma'am?
No. I don't know if you're convinced.
Yes, ma'am. It means minus 9 by 2 is equal to x.
Yeah, x is equal to minus 9 by 2. That means x will always be minus 9 by 2 for different values of y. So which means in the x coordinate, it will always be minus 9 by 2. The y coordinate can be different, which is represented by minus 9 by 2 comma m. It need not be m here. It can be a, b, c, d, which indicates a variable. And we know that a variable can assume different values, any value. Okay, so for
Ma'am,
question
thank
number
you, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Okay, for question number 9, option D is the correct option. Now tell me, what does this option mean? What does option B mean? What can be the equation for this option?
Ma'am, if x is 0.
Option B. What is the equation for option B?
Ma'am, 0x plus 2y plus 9 is equal to 0.
No, first make it very simple. Then we'll add x and all that. Just tell me in a very simple form. The missing variable we'll say later. Now, when you look at this ordered pair, what do you think can be the equation? Let's build the simple one first. When we say 0x and some y.
Equal to minus 9 by 2, ma'am.
Y is equal to a like that, ma'am.
Ma'am,
No.
y is equal to minus 9 by 2, ma'am.
Yeah, Pranav. Yes, you're right. Y is equal to minus 9 by 2. It's obvious, no? From the ordered pair. N comma minus 9 by 2, meaning n, the x coordinate can be any value. That's why it's represented by a variable there. The x coordinate can be any value, but y will not budge. It will always be minus 9 by 2. X coordinate, x can be any value. That's why it's represented by a variable n. See, children, it can also be x comma minus 9 by 2. They have not given a constant. The x coordinate is not a constant, children. X coordinate is a variable. That means it can take any value. X can be any value. But what is y? In place of the y coordinate, we have minus 9 by 2, which is a constant. Meaning y coordinate is always minus 9 by 2. X can be anything. That means y is equal to minus 9 by 2. y is equal to minus 9 by 2. Or 0x plus y is equal to minus 9 by 2, then you can bring everything to the side, whatever LCM and all that. But that's what I asked you. The very simple way, how do you express this? Y is equal to, like this one is, like option D means x is equal to minus 9 by 2. Option D means x is equal to minus 9 by 2, because x is always minus 9 by 2 for any value of y. See here, x is a constant. The x coordinate is fixed. That means the equation is x is equal to minus 9 by 2. That's what is this? X is equal to minus 9 by 2. X is equal to minus 9 by 2. So this one for any value of y. So if this should be the option, then the equation should be y is equal to minus 9 by 2. Y is equal to minus 9 by 2 for any value of x. All right. Yes, question number 10, children.
P, ma'am.
Y is equal to 0.
The equation of the x-axis is of the form y is equal to 0. All right. 11th one.
Option A, ma'am.
The graph of y is equal to 8 is a line. So y is equal to 8. Y is equal to, meaning it will be parallel to the
X-axis.
x-axis. And since it's positive, it will be, okay, nothing here. It's not given very specifically. It's just given parallel to the x-axis at a distance of 8 units from the origin. Okay, it's not mentioned above or below, but anyways, parallel to the x-axis. Y is equal to 8 will be a line parallel to the x-axis at a distance of 8 units. It's not given above or below. Let's see the other options. Parallel to the, okay, the L is missing here. Parallel to y-axis. No, y is equal to 8 will not be parallel to y-axis. So this is incorrect. Making an intercept 8 on the x-axis. Making an intercept 8 on the x-axis. That is, now this will be parallel to the x-axis, right? So it cannot make an intercept. It cannot intersect the x-axis. It cannot intercept, meaning it will intersect the x-axis. Making an intercept 8 on the x-axis. That means the point is 8, 0. Making an intercept 8 on the x-axis. X-axis, intercept is 8. That is, the point is 8, 0. No, this is possible. Intercept is possible only if the graph intersects, meets the x-axis. Now, this graph will not meet the x-axis. It will be parallel to the x-axis. So this cannot be the option. Making an intercept 8 on both the axes. That means the graph meets the x-axis at 8, 0 and y-axis at 0, 8. That's the meaning of this. Making an intercept 8 on both the axes. Making an intercept 8 on both the axes. Meaning the graph line meets the x-axis at 8, 0 and the y-axis at 0, 8. So that means it intersects both the axes. That's not possible because it's parallel to the x-axis. It cannot meet the x-axis. It's parallel to the x-axis. So this one is the correct option. Parallel to, so because these options C and D, in both options C and D, it means that the graph line intersects the x-axis, whereas actually the graph line is parallel to the x-axis. So in both these cases, it intersects. So C and D is not the right option. And here parallel to the y-axis. No, this is parallel to the x-axis. So parallel to the x-axis at a distance of 8 units from the origin. That's what we saw in the introduction also. You can see it here. The graph of y is equal to b is parallel to the x-axis. Y is equal to b is parallel to the x-axis. And if the value of b is positive, that is, if b is greater than 0, it lies above the x-axis. And if b is less than 0, that is negative, it lies below the x-axis. This is again solution. X is equal to 5, Y is equal to 2.
Option C, ma'am.
Okay, option C. 5 plus 2, 7. All right. Yeah. Yes. Option C. Then 13th one. If we multiply or divide both sides of a linear equation with a non-zero, multiply or divide both the sides of a linear equation with a non-zero number, then the solution of the linear equation
Changes. Ma'am, remains the same, ma'am.
how it will
Ma'am,
be? Yeah, no, it will be a different equation, no? So don't you think it will be a different graph? When you now supposing we have now let's just take up one of these equations, say x plus y is equal to 7. X plus y is equal to 7. Now say we multiply both the sides by 2. Then we get a new equation, 2x plus 2y is equal to 14. What is the meaning of the statement here? If we multiply or divide both the sides of a linear equation, so when you take up this x plus y is equal to 7, the two sides are the LHS and the RHS. When you multiply or you divide both the sides by a non-zero number, something other than 0. Okay, so if you multiply this equation by 2 on both the sides, you will get 2x plus 2y is equal to 14. So given this, the question is, then will the solution of the linear equation change? That is, will you get different graph lines? That is the question. Solution change?
ma'am, remains the same, ma'am. If 2x plus y it goes to that side, it divides, no, ma'am. It comes the same answer, ma'am.
So-
Changes in the case of division only, I think so.
Doesn't change, ma'am. Remains the same.
Okay, let's understand what is given first. So we just took up this example, x plus y is equal to 7. When we multiply this equation by 2 on both the sides, or say we divide this by 3 on both the sides, x by 3 plus y by 3 is equal to 7 by 3. When we multiply or divide, x by 3 plus y by 3 is equal to 7 by 3. Or we multiply both the sides by 2. 2x plus 2y is equal to 14. So when you do such changes, when you multiply or divide both the sides of the linear equation by a non-zero number, you should not multiply or divide by 0. You should not multiply or divide by 0. Something other than 0. What happens? That is, then the solution of the linear equation. Solution of the linear equation meaning, will the graph line be different? When you make the graph of x plus y is equal to 7, then make the graph for 2x plus 2y is equal to 7, will it be a different graph line altogether? Because only if it's a different graph line, the solutions will be different, right? The solutions will change. If it's the same graph line, they have the same solution. Now tell me. That's the question. See, when you multiply the equation by some non-zero number, so if x plus y is equal to 7, multiply by 2 on both the sides, 2x plus 2y is equal to 14. Now the question is, will the graph of x plus y is equal to 7 and the graph of 2x plus 2y is equal to 14 be the same or be different? If it is the same, that means they'll have the solutions, they don't change. If you're getting different graph lines, when you make for x plus y is equal to 7, you get a line, and for 2x plus 2y is equal to 14, you get a different line altogether. That means the solutions change because the points lying on the first line will not lie on the second line. The solutions may be different. What's the answer? Sorry?
Remains the same.
Remains the same, is it?
B, ma'am.
Yeah, it actually remains the same. The solutions don't change. Then the solution of the linear equation changes? No. Changes in case of multiplication only? No, it doesn't change. Changes in case of division only? No, it doesn't change. It remains the same. It remains the same. So to convince yourself, you'll have to make a graph. But we know that we are just getting equivalent equations. When you multiply or divide the equation, when you multiply or divide the equation on both the sides by something other than 0, you're getting, let me finish. You're getting an equivalent equation. You're getting an equivalent equation. You can try to make the graph, children. That will be still better. Please make the graph of x plus y is equal to 7 and then make the graph for 2x plus 2y is equal to 14. You will see you may be plotting 6 different points. You may be plotting 6 different points, but you will see that all the 6 points are collinear. When you join, you'll get the 2 lines will lie one over the other. There'll be coincident lines. The graph of x plus y is equal to 7 and say the graph of 3x plus 3y is equal to 21 when you multiply by 3 throughout. The 2 lines will be coincident. One line will lie on the other line. You will not get 2 different lines, which means the solution does not change. It remains the same. Option B is the correct option. Children, please take a screenshot of these pictures. Try this. We'll discuss these in the next class.
Ma'am, can I say the answer for 14?
Okay, only for 14. Yeah.
Infinitely many, ma'am.
Yeah. So how many linear equations in x and y can be satisfied by x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2? So 3, 2. We know that there are so many lines passing through a given point. The point is 3, 2. We can draw so infinitely many lines passing through the point 3, 2. So infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many lines. Sorry. Yes. How many linear equations in x and y? Infinitely many. Correct.
For 15th, I think C.
Okay, thank you, Pranav. We'll discuss in the next class. Children, please take a screenshot.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
No, ma'am, I just called to change the slide, ma'am, before it. You have changed now, ma'am.
Yeah, which one do you want? This one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I have taken the screenshot, ma'am.
All right, yeah. All right, children, that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please stay back. Else you may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, children. Good night. Thank you, children. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.